Good morning. Today is Monday, October 27th, and I am out on a field trip this morning with Miss Haven. So I want to go over the homework that you had assigned today. Um, we're going to do that first. I will be checking it tomorrow. Hang on to it. Then you guys are going to take a quiz on transformations. It's just a 10-problem multiple choice. When you're done with the quiz, the sub is going to give you the next SAT problem set, which is going to be due Friday as usual, and you're going to get a study guide, which will be due tomorrow. We'll spend tomorrow going over it. Tomorrow when I return, I will check today's homework that was due about the transformations, then I'm going to check for the study guide, and I'll have a bin up front to collect the SAT that was actually due today called Vocab Round 2. So let's look at the homework. Okay, so for the first problem, this is what they gave us, was this picture. The domain went from -4 to 4 with brackets, and the range from -3 to 4 with brackets. Problem 1 was to take the function and to change the inside to x plus 2. That means it's going to be shifted left by 2. This is my resulting picture. Domain -6 to 2 with brackets. Range -3 to 4 with brackets. The range does not change. Number 2, we're going to move it to the right 2. The minus on the inside means we're going to do the opposite, right? It's horizontal, so we're going to go right 2, and this is my end result. Domain -2 to 6 with brackets. Range -3 to 4 with brackets. Then we move on to number 3. Now what I'm doing to the function is outside of the function, so it's going to be vertical. My -2 is what I expect. It's down 2. Here's my resulting picture. The domain did not change, -4 to 4 with brackets, but the range did change. It's now -5 to 2 with brackets. In number 4, that 1/2 on the inside means it's horizontal. It's opposite what we think, so multiplying by half is going to be a stretch by 2. Ignore those 2 dots. So the y-intercept stayed the same. All of the other x's got multiplied by 2, and so it's a much wider shape than we started with. And by contrast, number 5, we have a 2 on the inside. It's again horizontal, opposite what we think. We're actually going to shrink it by a half. And here's my shrunk version. I forgot to tell you the ranges. The domain on number 4 was -8 to 8 with brackets. Range -3 to 4 with brackets. For number 5, the domain -2 to 2 with brackets. Range -3 to 4 with brackets. Then we needed to write the equations. Okay, number 6. We're starting off with x squared. We're going to vertically stretch it by a factor of 3. That means there's a 3 out front. We're going to horizontally shift it 2 to the right, opposite what we think. We're going to subtract 2 inside the parentheses. Vertical up 5, so the plus 5. Number 7, we're starting with the square root of x. If we reflect it over the x-axis, that's like a vertical a vertical reflection, so the negative is out front. Down 4 means subtract 4. Number 8, we have x cubed. We're going to horizontally compress it by a 4th, opposite what we think. We're going to multiply by 4. If we reflect it over the y-axis, there's a negative inside, and then up 5 means there's a plus 5. Number 9, we're going to start off with the absolute value of x. Vertically compress it by a 1/3 means it's on the outside, multiply by a 1/3. Reflect over the x, it's like a vertical reflection, it's on the outside, the minus, and go down 2, minus 2. On the next page, all of these functions start off with this original 2x minus 3 squared. So in number 10, there's a negative out front, so you put your negative out front. There's no need to FOIL in this case. Number 11, I'm going to replace, so that would have been a reflection over the x. This is a reflection over the y. I'm going to replace all my x's with negative x's, and that my end result, -2x minus 3 all squared. Number 12, I've got a 1/2 out front. I simply put a 1/2 and then multiply through. 13, I'm replacing the x with 1/2 x. So that gives me just a plain x minus 3 all squared. Number 14, I'm going to do a vertical stretch by 3 and then reflect it over the x, so that minus 3 comes out front. For number 15, I'm replacing the x with a minus 2x, giving me negative 4x minus 3 all squared. For number 16, I'm going to subtract 4 from the entire function, like that. And for 17, I'm going to have it's shifting to the left 5. It's on the inside. I'm replacing x with x plus 5. I distribute 2x plus 10, simplifies to 2x plus 7 all squared. Number 18, describe what's going on. So we're starting off with a function, and it doesn't matter what the function is, this is what they did to it. So they're going to horizontally, we're starting off on the inside, horizontally stretch it by 4, opposite what we think. Then vertically stretch it by 3, that's what that minus, the 3 out front is going to do. The minus is going to cause it to reflect over the x, or vertical. Number 19, we're going to reflect it over the y. That's what this first minus is doing. And then we're going to vertically shrink it by a half, and then we're going to reflect it over the x-axis, and then we're going to go down 4. Number 20, we're starting off with a function. What are we going to do to it? We're going to reflect it over the y-axis and shift it left 3. Number 21, what are we going to do? It starts off, this is 2 to the right, whatever it is. So wherever it was, it's now 2 to the right. And when it's done, it ends up 5 to the left, right? So what we really did is we shifted it left 7. And then what's going on with number 22? We are starting off with something that's to the left by 8. And down 4. Right, let's say that was the origin of whatever this thing is. In the next, after it's been transformed, it's only going to be to the left 6 and down 3. So what did we do? We went to the right 2 and up 1. Okay, so clear your desks. Separate your desks by at least a foot. You need a pencil, and we're going to have our quiz.